Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey guys, and welcome to Film Artsy, your #1 source for all things films and movies. And over the years, we've really gotten to love the trilogy of Thor movies starring actors like Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston. And it's really great to get to look behind the scenes and see some of the funny moments that have happened from the bloopers and whatnot, but it's even cooler to take these sequences and compare them to what we actually saw in the final release of the film. And today we wanted to take a look and compare some of these funny moments and slip-ups and line mess-ups versus what we actually got to see in the final release of the film. And sometimes you catch some things that didn't even make it into the final release, even in the blooper form. So we wanted to take a closer look at that. So let's go ahead and jump into this, starting off at one of the newer movies in the Thor franchise. So jumping into things, there's honestly so many hilarious moments from the Thor trilogy, and we expect to see even more in the future, but we wanted to take a look at Thor Ragnarok first at some of the more iconic moments. For instance, there's this sequence where Thor is faced off against Hela, and he says a line, and it's funny to see how he messes it up in a blooper versus what we actually got to see in the real movie.
The wise king never seeks out.
It's one step every time.
Your father once told me that a wise king never seeks out war.
But must always be ready for it.
We also can see some more lightheartedness with the cast, obviously, when they're doing these intense fight sequences. It's really cool to see maybe a little goof up or mess up and just kind of show how they are off screen or offset when they're just hanging out versus what we see in the real film, like this sequence of Thor versus Hela.
Director, when you're wearing that stuff.
Did I get your testicle?
For you, you're just the worst.
Okay, get up. You're in my seat.
Your father once told me that a wise king never seeks out war.
But must always be ready for it. So simple. Even a blind man could see it.
There was this really short blooper where we could see Loki in chains. And of course, we know the sequence where he's actually caught up in chains in the movie.
Ow. Just had to be sure. Hello, Bruce.
So, last time I saw you, you were trying to kill everybody. Where are you at these days?
It varies from moment to moment.
And then if we look back to Thor Ragnarok, we also know that Mark Ruffalo in that film as Bruce Banner was great, and seeing him in the streets with Thor was already funny enough, but the bloopers add a little bit extra context when we compare it to the actual scene that ended up making it into the final cut of the film.
You were gone forever. I'm glad to see you back.
You're ruining my disguise.
Fine, you don't have to fight anyone, but we're in danger here, so we have to move.
What are you doing? Stop doing
Tell
that.
him Tony wears his pants super tight.
Sorry. Why are you being so weird?
I don't know. Maybe the fact that I was trapped for 2 years inside of a monster made me a little weird.
It's okay. Good. Calm down, calm down.
Now this next one's really interesting in general because we do get to see in the blooper version Taika Waititi doing his performance of Korg, which is already an iconic and great thing. But even better, it is always cool when we get to see some little extra lines of dialogue that didn't quite make it into the final cut, but then we can see and compare it to what did make it into the final version of the film. But first, we wanted to give a quick reminder, we do have a really awesome Instagram page that updates you guys on everything happening Marvel immediately. So if you guys want to follow us on Instagram, check it out, link in the description. There's also a ton of really awesome memes and other things that are posted on there. So make sure you guys are following that page. And let's go ahead and jump into this story.
Oh, Scrapper 142. The 142th Scrapper.
Yeah, not really useful unless you're fighting off 3 vampires that were huddled together.
Hammer. Remember the hammer? The hammer rode you on your back.
Okay, so we have some more moments we want to look at from the other Thor movies, and the older ones are actually even more interesting at times. But before we fully go back into this, we just wanted to give a huge shout out to our DC Thursday winner. If you guys didn't know, every single Thursday we ask a challenging DC related trivia question over on our community tab. And if you want to have your comment featured here on this channel, make sure you guys head over there, make sure you're subscribed, and participate in the question for a chance to have your comment featured in an upcoming video. Okay, let's go back into this and look at this fight sequence from Thor: The Dark World, where we see Thor get punched, and then there's a little bit of a hiccup or trip up. And then let's compare this one to what we actually saw in Thor: The Dark World. And with all the CGI and special effects, the sequence looks incredibly different, but still very impressive nonetheless. Another sequence where we get to see something kind of completely different from what ended up making into the final cut is when we see Thor and Loki in the ship from the Dark World, and they're kind of having this back and forth, and they end up breaking and laughing because, of course, it's a blooper. But then in the actual release of the film, we do get to see this same dynamic of the two, but the line isn't actually featured in the real movies.
Yeah!
Oh, yes. And you miss the truth of ruling, brother. Throne would suit you ill.
Also in Thor: The Dark World, we see this sequence where Jane slaps Thor, and Natalie Portman had to reshoot this scene over and over and over again, and it's really funny, especially when you compare it to what we actually ended up seeing in the film.
Jane.
Typical.
Jane.
Sorry, I just needed to make sure you were real. It's been a very strange day.
I am. Jane, what?
Where were you?
We also can go even further back to some of the more iconic and older Thor actors and moments. Like in the very first Avengers movie, Loki slips up with some of his dialogue. And once again, we don't think the dialogue he says ended up in the film, but we do think it's from when Loki was in Stark Tower. But first, we wanted to give a quick reminder. We do have a really awesome Instagram page that updates you guys on everything happening Marvel immediately. So if you guys want to follow us on Instagram, check it out, link in the description. There's also a ton of really awesome memes and other things that are posted on there, so make sure you guys are following that page. And let's go ahead and jump into this story.
The Avengers mascot.
Nothing will change that.
The Avengers. That's what we call ourselves. Sort of like a team. Earth's mightiest heroes type thing.
Yes. I've met them.
Yeah. Takes us a while to get any traction, I'll give you that one. But let's do a head count here.
We also have this funny moment of Loki after he was Hulk smashed into the ground and him kind of messing up the scene versus the actual scene we got, which is very over the top.
Sorry, there's a laugh.
Enough! You are all of you beneath me. I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
Puny god.
There's actually another really good one with Loki that's often overlooked, but it's Loki versus Valkyrie. We can see a blooper from behind the scenes where they're fighting each other, and it's just a lot funnier without the action cuts and the sound effects added in versus what we actually see in the movie release.
What have you done?
Don't answer to you, Lucky.
It's Loki, and you will answer to the Grandmaster. You're a Valkyrie.
So we wanted to go ahead and take some of these moments and turn around to you guys.
I'm not hitting it, I'm pressing it, I'm pressing it.
You're not pressing it. Yes, I am.
So yeah.
Distracting. Well done. You just decapitated your grandfather.
With a whole new team.
So what did you guys think about these moments? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with notifications on for more videos like this uploaded every single day of the week. But otherwise, that is it for today. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video.
I think coming into his. Okay. 50-50 and is that it or not? Like this? Yeah.
Is that I play the Grandmaster. Yes, I'm the head of Sakaar, and it's colorful.
He's wonderful. It is a he.
It is a
I love when you come to visit at 142. You bring in just the best stuff.
Whenever we get to talking, Topaz, about Scrapper 142, what do I always say?
I think the objective from, you know, even years before we'd written the script was to change this film up in some way. You know, I think it all started to feel a little bit familiar and predictable, and I called Kevin Feige and said, you know, we gotta do something different here. And
It's the end of the future. I'm not a witch.
no, why'd you dress like one?
Hey, I can't believe you're alive. I saw you die. I mourned you. I cried for you. I'm honored.
Hi, would you mind taking a picture with us?
Oh, sure. Start figuring out where he is.
Sorry to hear that Jane dumped you.
She didn't dump me, though.